The morning tram square trembles with the crackle of rumour and the sharp flutter of forbidden newsprint. Evelyn keeps to the periphery, coat collar high, as Jonas, eyes darting, jaw set, watches the latest edition of the Iron Record vanish from a kiosk in seconds. Milo, half lost in the crowd, relays coded signals to scattered couriers. Directorate constables stride in, flanked by Auguzan operatives whose eyes glimmer with unnatural focus. They seize stacks of newspapers, scattering pamphlets and sending vendors scrambling. One constable rips the front page, reading names that were supposed to have never existed. Jonas mutters, "We're too late. They're already erasing the evidence." Evelyn scans the growing unrest. Workers shouting, students clustering on the university steps, merchants whispering about missing families. A siren wails. Milo slips behind a pillar, discreetly signalling a runner to reroute remaining additions through the service alleys. Protests ignite on 3 sides of the square. The Directorate's response is swift. Vendors are detained, and news kiosks are shuttered. But the headlines endure, echoing through dockyards and campus corridors. As Directorate forces close in, Milo vanishes into the shifting mass, already planning the resistance's next move. Later, in the sun-bleached worker district plaza, the city's anger ignites. Evelyn and Mara move among clusters of shouting labourers and chanting students, cameras and notebooks hidden beneath their coats. As the first banners rise, Auguzan units stride through the crowd, their augmentations hissing and steaming. Directorate agents fan out, their faces impassive as they consult glowing tablets, arresting protest leaders before they can even speak. Mara ducks beneath a tattered protest sign, whispering warnings to a priest and a professor. "They're coming for you next. Go." The plaza fractures under the pressure. Organisers vanish mid-chant, snatched by unseen hands. Evelyn snaps a photo as a clergyman is hustled away, then nearly collides with a courier who slips her a coded scrap. Leviathan, algorithm in play. Mara presses through the chaos, passing urgent messages to her network. The crowd disperses under the threat of stun batons and drone surveillance. As Evelyn and Mara retreat, the realization settles. The Directorate is no longer reacting. It is predicting every move. Milo's summons arrives, a code sent through the city's hidden channels, calling the core resistance to regroup before the next strike lands. Deep beneath the industrial quarter, Milo's voice carries across the echoing tram depot. Scattered couriers, labour organisers, and a few wary church sympathisers gather in the half-lit space, faces drawn and tense. Milo sketches routes on a cracked tile, hands stained with grease, as Jonas relays news of missing runners. The Directorate's locking us down. Signal lines are dead. An older courier reports. They're jamming everything except the old analogue codes. Milo nods, issuing orders. No more routine drops. Use deep passages only. If you're compromised, vanish. Red lights flicker as biometric checkpoints go live above. Couriers distribute new cipher keys, some trembling as they hide their faces. A runner's absence is noted, replaced by a stranger with dead eyes. "He was taken last night," someone whispers. Mara hands Milo a folded schedule, her gaze urgent. Administrative maintenance. Patterns too regular. There's a node. Heads turn as they realise every recent raid has coincided with these shifts. The network, battered but not broken, adapts, slipping into the city's lost arteries. Outside, sirens and distant shouts ring through the stone. Milo's plan is set. The resistance will move where the Directorate can't follow. Inside a cramped tenement basement, Evelyn hunches over a patchwork table scattered with registry logs, church ledgers, and coded testimony. The scientist, face gaunt, fingers trembling, recoils at any mention of LEVIATHAN. It's everywhere in the logs. But what is it? Evelyn asks, voice low. The scientist's reply is barely audible. The system that decides who is erased. Most logs are redacted, encrypted, filled with cross-referenced dead ends. Evelyn persists, guiding the scientist to annotate the registry, matching dates and destinations by memory and intuition. Slowly, a pattern emerges, a single line, tracing every vanished name, every surveillance order, every transfer, back to one address, the central data vault. All roads end there, she murmurs. The scientist's hand hovers above a final classification, Leviathan, beside hundreds of erased names. Evelyn's breath catches. It's not just a system, it's a grave. She gathers the annotated files, urgency rising. The others wait above, the city's rumble leaking through floorboards. Evelyn steels herself. This discovery is the key to everything, but time is running out. Beneath the ancient stones of St. Culdus, the Resistance Council gathers in a cold vault. Milo unrolls blueprints across a steel crate, tracing the labyrinth beneath the administrative quarter. It's a fortress now. Biometric locks, live surveillance, automated squads. Jonas glances at Evelyn. If we sabotage it, we lose everything. If we fail, they erase us. The debate crackles. Saboteurs argue for destruction, archivists for preservation. Evelyn's voice cuts through. If we destroy the vault, the truth dies with it. If we copy everything, we can expose them. Every disappearance, every transfer, every order. Mara nods grimly. But if we're caught, there's no coming back. The council votes. Infiltration. The plan forms, timed with a maintenance shift, using forged Directorate credentials and Milo's knowledge of service corridors. Jonas catches Evelyn's eye, murmuring, "We'll need perfection." Milo's gaze lingers on a highlighted node, Leviathan's main relay. It isn't just a file, he warns. It's the city's new brain. The meeting splits, tension thick as each member moves to their preparations, the weight of history on their shoulders. In the shadowed storeroom of a long-abandoned warehouse, Jonas sorts stacks of forged Directorate credentials. Milo cross-checks, coded maintenance schedules, and Evelyn commits maintenance override strings to memory. Anxiety ripples through the group. 2 safe houses raided tonight, Jonas mutters, tossing a badge to Milo. They're always a step ahead. Mara enters, her voice taut. A courier was replaced. They're using our own patterns against us. The realization settles. A new kind of enemy is watching. Mara proposes micro-teams and false moves, seeding decoys across the city to mask the true infiltration. It's the only way. Leviathan is predicting us, not chasing. Reluctantly, all agree. Milo jots a new route, bypassing compromised tunnels. Jonas updates the courier list, eyes haunted. The warehouse lights flicker as a distant drone passes overhead. Mara quietly hands Evelyn a Directorate memo. All information flows, now converge at the vault. If we fail, they erase the record and us with it. The group disperses, nerves frayed, each carrying their share of the plan into the city's living web. Disguised in Directorate worker uniforms, the team slips through the steel doors of the central data vault sub-level. Milo leads with a toolbox, guiding them to a freight elevator that rattles up through the bowels of the administrative quarter. The group emerges into a humming corridor, lined with pneumatic tubes and glass panels. Security drones flit overhead, beams tracing for badges. Jonas palms his forged credentials, bluffing at checkpoints with the technician's weary scowl. Evelyn notes the surveillance cameras sweep, whispering to Milo, "We'll need the override in 60 seconds. An alarm blares. A corridor locks down unexpectedly. Milo produces a pocket-sized jammer, scrambling the nearest scanner as Evelyn keys in an override code she's memorized. The gate slides open just long enough for them to slip through. Above, a maintenance gantry stretches over a cavernous archive hall, its floors lined with humming consoles. The team edges across, boots echoing on the metal grid, every movement tracked by unseen eyes. At the far end, a directory schematic glows on a screen, data flows radiating from a single hub. "There's the heart," Jonas murmurs, and it's beating faster. The maintenance gantry trembles as a Directorate supervisor's voice booms through the PA. "All personnel, biometric scan and roll call, now." Below, Olgizen operatives fan out, scanning for anomalies. Jonas steps forward, brandishing his credentials with forced confidence. "Systems out of sync, sir. Maintenance override in progress." The supervisor frowns, approaching. Milo presses the jammer beneath the handrail, the device vibrating as it scrambles the biometric reader. Evelyn slips a coded badge into the scanner, holding her breath. The screen flickers, then flashes. Anomaly detected. The supervisor's gaze sharpens, but Jonas launches into an explanation about overdue diagnostics, distracting him for a precious moment. The scanner resets, green light blinking. "Move along," the supervisor grunts, waving them through. They cross the last span of gantry, hearts racing. Behind them, a warning pulses across the consoles. "Unauthorized access, behavioral profile match detected." Milo's knuckles are white on the rail. Evelyn's eyes meet Jonas's. No more second chances. Below, the archive floor hums with activity, security drones mobilizing. Their only hope now is speed. At the deep archive terminal, the room pulses with the glow of hollow screens and the whir of cooling fans. The scientist is already there, waiting, having made his own way through security without raising suspicion. Evelyn photographs blueprints labelled LEVIATHAN, her fingers steady despite the cacophony of alarms. Jonas plugs a drive into the main console, copying registry files as lines of redacted entries fly past. Milo crouches at a side panel, working to extract encrypted population datasets. The system resists. Every file demands a biometric and code sequence. The scientist, sweat beading on his brow, presses his trembling palm to the scanner, eyes darting upward. Evelyn and Jonas work in tandem, bypassing the final lock. A digital alarm howls, and a voice echoes, "Security breach, strike teams en route." Jonas hisses, "Almost there." The last file appears. A hidden protocol, Mara's name glowing in the list of irretrievable assets. Evelyn's heart stutters. They already know. Drives are yanked, cameras pocketed. The building vibrates with the rising thunder of boots and the mechanical whine of Olgizen. Jonas glances at the only exit. "We run. Now." The team bolts, the truth in their hands and the city's fate teetering on the edge. Sirens erupt throughout the administrative quarter as Evelyn, Jonas and Milo race through the steel-lined service corridors, carrying the copied registry files. Behind them, security doors slam shut in sequence, forcing the infiltration team toward a narrowing escape route. Every planned exit is suddenly sealed. Directorate response units converge with frightening speed, guided by Leviathan's predictive security network. Outside the vault complex, Mara commands the Resistance's scattered micro-teams from an abandoned maintenance exchange overlooking the district. Using stolen Directorate comm frequencies and reports relayed by couriers across the rooftops, she watches the response unfold. One by one, her escape routes disappear from the map. Every contingency has already been anticipated. "They're herding them," she whispers. Realizing the infiltration team will never reach the extraction point, Mara abandons the command post and takes the nearest diversion team into the streets. They trigger emergency alarms, overload power relays, ignite smoke charges beneath a freight viaduct, and broadcast false resistance sightings across Directorate communication channels. The deception works, but only briefly. Leviathan rapidly identifies the genuine escape corridor. Mara makes her decision. Over the Resistance radio, she orders Evelyn to ignore the original extraction plan and head for an abandoned pneumatic document shaft beneath Corridor 6. Without waiting for acknowledgement, she leads her diversion team directly into the Directorate cordon, deliberately exposing herself. "You want the archive?" Mara broadcast across an open emergency channel. "Come and claim it." Orgizen's strike teams immediately pivot toward the new contact, allowing Evelyn, Jonas, Milo, and the wounded scientist to slip into the narrow document shaft as boots thunder overhead. Crawling through the vibrating steel conduit, Jonas pauses as Mara's voice echoes one final time over the radio before dissolving into static. "Go." Seconds later, the transmission ends. The infiltration team escapes with the stolen archive. Mara does not. Floodlights flare in the administrative plaza as Mara bursts from a shadowed arcade, pursued by Orgizen and Directorate agents. She halts at the plaza's centre, hands raised, surrounded by a tightening ring of armed operatives. Her eyes search the rooftop above, finding Evelyn's silhouette against the sky. For a moment, the world shrinks to a silent exchange. Mara nods once, lips pressed thin. Evelyn's fists clench on the parapet. Jonas, Milo, and the scientist crouch beside her, helpless. Below, an agent's voice booms. "Surrender. Now." Mara offers no resistance, her gaze fixed on where her allies hide. Two Orgizen step forward, cuffing her in silence. Directorate officers consult a tablet, murmuring, "Special transfer, Leviathan." As Mara is led away, the plaza fills with the echo of distant protests and the sharp bark of orders. Evelyn cannot look away as Mara disappears beneath the lights, her sacrifice an unspoken command. Survive and finish this. The rooftop is silent, save for the far-off clamour of a city on the verge. On a rain-slick rooftop water tower, Evelyn stares through the haze at the now darkened plaza. The city below is a patchwork of unrest, fires in the distance, squads moving in formation, rumours of Mara's capture already spreading. Jonas paces, clutching a drive. Milo dials in a coded warning, his hand shaking. The scientist tends a bleeding arm, gaze hollow. "We have what we need," Jonas says quietly. "We have to share it." Evelyn nods, her voice barely above a whisper. "Every cell, every channel. The truth is all we have left." She slips a memory chip into a hidden pouch, eyes never leaving the horizon. Milo signals the last trusted couriers, knowing Leviathan's reach now extends everywhere. Silence sits heavy as they begin encrypting and copying the stolen archive, each keystroke a promise to those vanished. The city's chaos rises, but on this rooftop, the cost is counted in quiet tears and unfinished words. Far below, within the heart of the vault, a digital file opens. Mara, classified, Destination Leviathan. The rebellion will go on, but nothing will ever be the same.